Right guys, so we're here at the Max Power reunion and this is going to be the Max Power Gumball Corsa build.
Yeah, so we're going to have got literally a day and a half to take this, a standard Corsa, into a full Max Power build.
So ladies and gents, welcome to the Max Power reunion 2022.
So first job on the list for the Gumball Corsa was obviously to remove those standard horrible looking wheel arches, ready for the nice new ones to go on. And then what you'll see is Rich and Slater pot rivet in the side skirts on, so just inside the door, shuts into the sill, pot riveted on, nice and secure, and then on to the next.
Oh.
The front and rear bumper need the mesh attaching on, so what we're doing is putting the mesh onto the back of it and screwing them on through the raw plugs that we fiberglassed on earlier.
So you can see now Rich and Slater are lifting and aligning the back bumper. Once the back bumper was actually going on, they could then put the rear arches over the top to get the kit to sit in nicely, and already you can see how much different that back end looks.
Guys from Anarchy Garage are also here in the feature top 30 area at the front. They are fitting and building Max Power Corsa.
So what I'm doing now with the arches, the body kit is actually two different body kits, so it doesn't go together quite so perfectly. So I'm cutting the ends off so they line up with the side skirts that are going on Gumball. Now the arches have dropped into the holes on the body, what we're doing with the big marker is actually lining out the rear arches and cutting these out. Because of the big wheel arches we've now installed to make room for the bigger wheels, it also means bigger cuts on the arches. So now what we're doing is lining the arches up. Now the arches have already got bolts fiberglassed onto the back of them, so we're lining them up against the car, drawing little marks and then drilling through the arches. Moving on to the front arches now. The front arches are very similar to the rear, and what we're going to do is mark out the bolt holes, drill them through and then bolt them on, and then attack the remaining arch gap with a recip saw.
So next job on the list for the lads was removing the scuttle panel. Now, anybody who remembers the Max Power days will remember that finding a smooth panel for one of these was so rare, and we were lucky enough to find one, had it all sprayed up. So quickly remove the wipers, drop the panel into place and bolt everything back down. It's front bumper time, and my favourite part of the whole build is the Kingdom 2 front bumper. So the first thing we've got to do is attach the mesh onto the back of it, which we're going to do by screwing it into the raw plugs that I fitted earlier, and then try and get it lined up on the front. there's only one way to truly accompany a mean looking front end like that Kingdom 2, and that's with a proper old school bad boy bonnet, which, as you would have seen in the first Gumball episode, Slater had already done the fiberglass fixings and everything for it, but anybody who works with fiberglass knows it can be quite fragile, which is why all three of us have got hold of it at this point. So we're just getting it bolted down nicely, and then a little bit of adjustment to make sure that all the gaps and everything were correct and looked decent on the car. Again, in true old school style, we managed to find some replica M3 mirrors and the base plates as well, which was great because it meant that they just went on into the original holes from the standard Corsa mirrors, and they look absolutely wicked once they were all painted up in the same body colour.
The rear spoiler is actually a replica of a GSI or SRI original rear spoiler, but ours being a single skin, it's a little bit trickier to fit on, so we're having to drill some holes, and then we've even got the grinder out to try and tweak it to make sure it's got the best possible fit.
Right guys, so we're calling it a day for day one, and you can see the car looks absolutely amazing. We've managed to get all of the colour and everything up on this car, so we're ready to call it a night.
Drilled all the holes in to bolt the arches on, packed the back up with washers underneath so it all fits nice and flush. Along the side skirts, we've gone in front here, drilled a few holes to get the front end on, hot riveted along the top and seam sealed. So we've got probably a mixture of about 5 or 6 fixing locations inside of the door jamb. Then we've got 2 fixing locations here and here that we've drilled through, spaced up and bolted up, all with nylox and whatnot, so it's all proper on. Same with the rear arches, drilled probably 5 or 6 fixing points, spaced up. Boot lid, that is fixed in from the top, seam sealed and glued in on the sides. Back bumper was slightly different. What we did was we welded mounting points in prior, so it would basically go on and fix on in 2 locations underneath and then a few fixing points at the bottom. Bolted the new mirrors on, 2-piece unit, so base plate, mirror screws on from the inside, base plate goes on and screws on from the inside. Bonnet, that's pretty much skinned on, done, 2 bolts, set up, finished. The blanking off plate for the wipers, that's just a few screws in, pop through, done, nice and easy. Front bumper, that was slightly interesting. So what we did with that, yes, like the back bumper, pre-welded mounts, bolt on in 2 places. We've done the meshing, looking absolutely beautiful.
What's up then guys? So this is the opening of day 2 of the show. So this is all down to me today because the guys did an absolute smashing job on the body kit and everything yesterday, and the car's looking amazing, but all this interior needs to change now. This is where I come in. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be getting the twin Sparco seats in it, and then I'm going to be reupholstering all the back end of the car. Got a couple of extra little bits in there which you're going to see later on as well. Get it all looking really nice, and then we can finally give the old girl a nice good clean and start getting it down. So yeah, a lot to do, let's crack on.
Right, so Rich and I are going to be cracking on with the Corsa again today, and what we're going to be doing is, first of all, getting this thing down on the ground. So we've got some new wheels to go on it as well, which have been freshly refurbished by Pro Alloys in Telford, so thank you for looking after us there, Gaz, and all new tyres as well. So we'll get it down on the ground, and then we're going to be mopping and polishing the entire car to freshen this paintwork up so it looks its best for today.
We want this lowered as low as it's going to go. So what we've got is we've got coilovers fitted. These coilovers use a little C-spanner. You put it on the castle nut under there, and you can adjust it up and down to adjust the ride height. Total, we haven't set nothing up at the moment, so we're going to throw the wheels on, have a drop down test, see what's what, and then yeah, adjust up accordingly. We're going to try and get it real nice and low to give it that proper show stance. So.
Right then guys, so as I said earlier, I'm going to be transforming the interior of Gumball today. So first of all, it's obviously these seats are going to be coming out, so I'm going to be attacking that first. But this back section of the car, as you can see, is really bare and looking a bit worse for wear. So this is going to be my main port of call today. So I'm going to be relining all of this with some nice new carpeting. And then you can't have a car called a Gumball Corsa without a Gumball machine. So I'm going to be getting a really cool, nice Anarchy Garage style Gumball machine sat right in here. I've got strut braces to go in and a few other little trick bits. So it's really going to make this thing pop. And then the whole car should be pretty much done. So stay tuned, see what happens.
Right, so next thing that we're going to be doing is putting these lights in the back. Now these are genuine Ermshire tinted lights. These are super, super rare. And I think you'll agree, these are going to set the car off absolutely perfectly.
We're all on a big cleaning mission now because the car's got to be ready to roll out of our bay for 1:30 for the show and shine and top 30.
nice and party candle. More bring the rest strike. More party nice and party candle. More love me out with the hand of the sun. Party nice and party candle. More bring the rest strike. Party nice and party candle. Love me out with the hand of the sun. Love me out with the hand of the sun.
On the second day, seeing Gumball roll out of the barriers was absolutely surreal, and I don't think any of us had fully appreciated the car until we actually stood back from it. And having the Max Power girls with it, and Helen and Jamie Shaw, was absolutely incredible. And what a sign off to the day-and-a-half build of Gumball the Corsa.
Right, so that concludes a day and a half, or 2 days technically, because it happens 5 now, of pure madness and a hell of a lot of hard work. But we've definitely pulled it off. So we want to just give a big, massive thank you to the Max Power guys for having us here first and foremost. And then obviously Petrol Hedonism, who headed up the show as well. Chris Edwards for doing a spectacular job on all the paintwork and everything. Legend, thank you Chris. And anybody else and everybody else who's been involved with this build. We really appreciate all the support.
We've loaded her up on the trailer. We've had to make a few adjustments to get it on, but she's on, ready to go home. And yeah, tea time, I think.
That's it. So make sure you keep an eye out, because there'll be loads more coming from the Max Power Corsa as well, Gumball. And that's it for now. Join us on the next episode of the Anarchy Garage.